I was watching your post-game interview with you, and it was about Adam Wainwright, who's a new Fox Sports
Yeah.
talent here. And it was, it was an emotional time, it was an emotional interview. And what is so special about you and Adam's relationship that that made you emotional when you're talking about his last year pitching with the organization and his final starts and all that stuff?
I think for me, it was the time that he gave me. I was just a young 21-year-old, got called up, and I asked him. We were both in the bullpen. I think it was for about a week stretch there in 2017. We were both in the bullpen, and we would kind of talk and go back and forth. And he helped me. He's like, well, why don't you throw in more? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And started to take that, and then I was like, asked him one day in the pen. He's like, hey, how about you think you could sit down with me and let me pick your brain for a little bit? And he's like, absolutely, sure. After last game of the season, we didn't make playoffs that year.
What year was this?
It was 2017.
Okay.
So I'd been up for a month. Like I got called up in September. And after that last game of the season, if you're not in playoffs, everybody's ready to go. Like you say your goodbyes, but it's like, all right, like, it's on to the off season. Like it's time to go. And he sat with me for 2 hours or so in the clubhouse, just sat there and let me take notes, write down everything that we talked about, everything we went over. And from there, continued like every single time, every little bit. And we just continued to talk. And, it's special when you get a guy like that. I don't know how many years in he was at that point, but to sit down with you for 2 hours after the game, then continue the next year and the next year and next year and continue to like support you, even as he went through his own ups and downs and dealt with some injuries and dealt with little things like that. It shows you the way to go about things. And, as I've dealt with some injuries and this and that, and being able to, be there for the other guys that are that are in the rotation, because at the end of the day, it's about the team. And it's like, if you can help these other guys, even if you're hurt and whatnot, you're helping the team. And, he's an incredibly selfless individual, had an unbelievable career. He's going to be great when it comes to, working here. And it'll be, I can't say I'm looking forward to listening to him talk a little bit more, because that's all he does is talk. But he'll be fun. It'll be awesome.
It's obviously cool that he sat down with you for so long, but it's the fact that he even did, as like you said, who knows how many years he was in already at that point. But the fact that it was the last game, no playoffs, you had just gotten called up to the big leagues. It's not like you were a vet at the time. For him to take the time when he could easily be like, all right, I'm out. It's the offseason.
He got family, everything.
Really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. He could have absolutely just gone with his family and been like, hey, man, I got things to do. Give me a call in the offseason.
Yeah.
But no, sat there with me.
Do you have, other than that, maybe a funny Adam Wainwright story? What's your favorite story?
My favorite story is when I waited for him with a wheelchair at the airport. I think it was his 39th birthday. And every year there was something that went on, or we did something. And I think it was when he turned 39, not when he turned 40, but it was during COVID, and he threw a complete game on his 39th birthday. And I didn't know what I was gonna do or whatnot. And I got to our airport early and waited for him outside with a wheelchair and wheeled him all the way from from outside all the way to the plane, because I was like, man, you're too old to be doing this. Like, I don't think you can make it to the plane. So that's my favorite one of being able to doing that to him.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.